Hi and welcome to another video for Year 9 Maths D. So still under the chapter of function notation, but today you will learn about how to find inverse function. Now here, just basically have to remember one particular method, which is how to use changing subject method to obtain inverse function. Now later, you will see that you can use changing subject method. Okay, let's have a look at the idea of an inverse function. So inverse function is basically like what you have learned previously. When a function it's like this, you have to put the input and to get the output later. But here, the inverse function, it will work in reverse. Okay, so you just have to transform this into this one. You will see later how, but you have to remember this. Okay, for this one, you have to remember this fact. So if a function of x is y, then when you put the function and you just like you're moving it to the other side, it will become like this. Okay, so the inverse function of y will be x, because f, this one, f power negative 1, which is the inverse function, it does not mean that it's 1 over f like the law of indices they have learned before. Now let's see what you will do here. Okay, now when you have this one, fx equals to x minus 3, you just write it down like this, but you write y in place of fx. The next one will be the very important step, which is you have to rearrange the formula to make x as your subject. Okay, just remember that. Okay, you have to make sure that you have to replace, okay, make x the subject right here. Okay, now when you have done this, you will have x equals y plus 3 over 2. When you have this, you have to do this. Okay, replace x with f inverse of x, and the y in the right side of the equation, you have to replace it by x. So this is your inverse function. Okay, you will see later how you're going to do it. By time you will get used to it. Okay, now let's start with a very simple one. Example 1, given that fx equal x plus 2, you have to find find inverse function of x. So as you know just now, you have to make fx equals y, and then it is equal to this. And later you have to make x as a subject. Okay, so what you're going to do is I will flip this one. X plus 2 equals y, and I will make x as my subject. So I will have the end x equals y minus 2. Okay, just recall this step. You just have to really remember this step. So replace x with f inverse x. Okay, and replace y with x. So x minus 2. So voila, there you have it. This is your inverse function. And here, find inverse function of 7. Okay, you can evaluate inverse function here. So here you will have f1 is 1, f to the power 1 is 7 minus 2. So therefore, the inverse function, when you put 7, it will become 7 minus 2 is 5. So basically, it works quite similar to what you have learned before. It's just that you have to find the inverse function first. Okay, now let's move on to example number 2. Right, for each of this, find f inverse x and then f inverse negative 2. Okay, just a little bit of correction. I will just replace this with this one. Okay, here I will just replace f inverse 5. Okay, just okay, just a little bit of correction. Okay, let's proceed to this one. Okay, now what we're going to do next is here. Okay, now you have to use the same idea you have learned before, which is fx becomes y. Okay, fx equals y. So here, what happened here? Okay, y equal x plus 3 over 2. And then, okay, just flip the equation. Okay, and you have to make x as a subject. So let's proceed. So 2 will be moved into y, cross multiplication. You don't have to move from the right to the left here, just left to the right. So we'll have x plus 3 equals 2y, right? Now you will have to move 3 to the other side, so it will become x equals 2y minus 3. And since here your x is already your subject, all you have to do is to replace, right? So replace x with f inverse x, and your 2y, y will become x. So this is your inverse function, right? Now, here, your question just now is based on f inverse 5. So you have to put 5 here. So f, okay, f inverse 5 will be 2 times 5 minus 3, which is 10 minus 3, right? So therefore, your inverse function of 5 will be 7. Okay, simple, right? Okay, next one will be part B. Okay, here in part B, same thing. You have to find also the inverse. So let's start. So fx is y equal 3x plus 2 over x. And then here, I will just flip this because it's simpler. Okay, now here, same thing also. You have to cross x to the right side. So 3x plus 2 equals xy. Now here, when you have x on both sides, I will advise you to collect x into the right hand side. So here 3x minus xy, and the minus 2, which is the number, I will move it to the right side. Straight away, it will become negative 2. And here, if you remember, you can factorize x by taking out x. Okay, factorize this term, this expression. So x bracket 3 minus y. Okay, just to double check. Okay, let's expand this. 3 times x, 3x. And then x times y, xy, negative. Okay, now here equals negative 2. All you can do after this is that you can divide this by whatever is inside the bracket, which is 3 minus y. Okay, so here you will have x equals negative 2 over 3 minus y. Therefore, your function f inverse x will be negative 2 out of 3 minus y is replaced with x. So there we have it. Okay, that's for f inverse x. And now, okay, just a little bit space here. I have spacing problem over here. So f inverse 5 will be negative 2 over 3 minus 5, right? Okay, now here I will have negative 2 out of 3 minus 5 is negative 2. So therefore your f inverse 5 will be 1. Alright, so that's for the second part. Okay, part B. And next one I will do part C, which is this one. Okay, so let's start. So for part C, y equal x squared minus 4, and you have to make x as a subject, remember that. So here you will have, I will flip, I will get x squared minus 4 equals y. Now I will move negative 4 to the other side to get x squared equals y plus 4, and here you have x squared. So when you want to find x, you have to apply square root for both sides. Okay, so I will apply square root on both sides, and I will make sure that before the square root you have a plus minus y plus 4. So therefore your inverse function will be a plus minus square root of x plus 4. Now, as you know, you have to find the inverse of f5. F inverse 5 will be plus minus. Oh, sorry. This one I should have 4. So here will be minus 4. Okay, sorry for that. So I will replace minus 4, minus 4, minus 4. So here it will be 5 minus 4 under the square root. So f minus plus 5 will be square root of 1, which is 1. Okay, because 5 minus 4 is 1, square root of 1 is 1. Okay, so that's for the example number 2. Okay, now here this is one of the challenging part, which is to evaluate an inverse function at a given point without having to find expression for the inverse function. So here, bear with me, you can okay, slowly through this. Okay, a function g is defined by gx is equal to 3x minus 5. Without finding g inverse x, evaluate g inverse minus 2. So here, at the beginning, you have to state this, okay? Let g inverse negative 2 equals any variables that you like. So let's say I'll put a. And you know from the previous part that here, okay, which is the first page, you have to use this property. So when you move the inverse into the another side of the equation, you can have the inverse. So here, when you try to move the function over here, you will have a function of GA, right? So you can say that GA is equal to negative 2. So you can use this later, okay? Just remember this one. You will use this later, right? Now, let's use what you are given here. So G x equals 3x minus 5. Right. Now, next one will be when you try to put this one. Okay, this one is x equals a, so g a equals, your x will be changed into 3 times a minus 5. Okay, you can see that this one will be used. So here ga is negative 2. Okay, this one will be replaced by negative 2. And 3a equals 3a minus 5. Now you have to solve for a because a is this one. Okay, now it makes sense. So here, let's proceed. You have to solve for a. 3a minus 5 equal negative 2. I'll just flip this equation to the left, change it to right, change to left. So just proceed. Okay, so here 3a minus 5 will move to the other side. It will become negative 2 plus 5 will be 3, right? Okay, now here you will have to divide 3a by 3. So this one, your a is equal negative 1. And you know that you have stated in the beginning that a is g inverse negative 2. And there you have it. You have your solution already. G inverse negative 2 equals 1, right? Because here you replace a with this one. Okay, you know it already from your first part of the sentence. Okay, next one, the same idea applies. Okay, let's just use another letter. Let G inverse 4 be B, right? Then you have G bracket B equals 4. So you have to use, you can use this later. Okay, now proceed with what you have been given, which is Gx equals 3x minus 5. Now when you try to replace x with a, you will have Ga equals 3a minus 5. Now when you have this, you know that your this is not a, I'm sorry, just replace this. Okay, b, sorry about that. So when you replace this, this is actually minus 4, right? 4, not minus 4. 4 equals 3b minus 5. And then you proceed with solving for b, which will be familiar to you. Okay, so here you will have 3b equals 4 plus 5 will be 9. Because here negative 5 move to the other side will be plus 5. So your b will be 9 divided by 3, which is 3. Okay, so therefore you know that your inverse, which is b, g inverse 4, right? So therefore g inverse 4 will be 3, right? So you can learn from here that you can also try to solve the evaluation of inverse function without finding the inverse function here. So I think that's it for this one. Thank you very much and see you again.